you doing? What a great Sunday we had this week when we were able to remember the Anzacs and the sacrifice and the courage that they had for us, for our country, to get us through. And then we looked at Paul's letter to Timothy. Now, Timothy was this shy, discouraged person that was going through a lot. He was pastoring in a city that was tough. Now, Paul wrote him this letter to encourage him, to keep going. Now, when Paul wrote this, he himself was facing death in jail, but he was focusing on Timothy and getting him through. And in this letter, Paul used 3 illustrations, which was to be a soldier, as well as an athlete and a farmer. Now, with a soldier has to have dedication. A soldier needs to be fearless and have discipline, courage, and motivation. And as a soldier of God, we also need all that. Things get really tough on the front line, and I think all of us could agree on that. But we must endure hardness to keep going. We need to keep focused on things that are around us as part of our Christian journey and not get caught up with things that we shouldn't get caught up with. And then Paul went on to talk about an athlete. And he said, no one gets crowned without competing according to the rules. Now, when you're an athlete, you need to have hard work. You need to do hard work. You need dedication. You need to strive for the prize. And you're not going to get that prize unless you put in self-denial, self-control, and self-discipline. You can't expect just to turn up on the day and receive the prize, receive the gold medal, without putting in the hard yards. And that's the same with us. We can't just walk this journey and just expect to get to the finish line without putting in the hard yards that Christ is asking us to do. And then Paul went on to talk about the farmer. It is the farmer who does the work who ought to have the first share of his crops. Now, farming is hard work, and we know that as Australians, as Australian farmers. And it has its disappointments, but the rewards are definitely worth it. So, like he was saying, we need to push on through the suffering. We need to keep planting the seeds. As Christ's soldier, we must have a desire to please God and obey God's rules in order to see victory, to see the crown that he has for us. We can't expect things just to happen. We need to be diligent, faithful, have faith, and depend on God. Now, are you sitting on the sidelines at the game? Are you just sitting and observing what's happening? Or are you using your gifts and the skills that God has given you for this kingdom? Paul was encouraging Timothy to use what God has given him, even though we may feel defeated and discouraged, and there's days that we just might not even want to get out of bed. But we need to push through that. We need to rely on God and to use what he has given us. We need to step away from the sidelines. We need to get in the game. We need to get on that battlefield and put in the hard yards. We need the courage, the dedication, and the discipline. We need to be prepared for this battlefield and to receive the prize that Christ has for us. To do this, we need to open up his word. We need to spend time with him daily so we can get his instructions. How is that going for you? Are you setting aside time every day for God? Are you setting aside time to open up his word? To do some devotions, to spend time getting to know him, building your relationship with Christ so he can communicate with you on what he needs you to do, the instructions for the battlefield. Are you leaning into the strength that he has for you to get through those tough days? If you're struggling with this, find someone that you can trust, that can walk alongside you. Someone like Paul was to Timothy. Someone to encourage you, someone to keep spurring you on when you have those down days. Maybe you could also join a small group if you're not in one, so you have a group of people around you, again, to encourage you and to spur you on in your your Christian journey. We are all in this together. We are on this battlefield together. We're in this game together to receive the prize, the crown that Christ has for us. And I love the reminder in Philippians 4:13 that says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. What a great verse that we can take with us daily. It's a verse that is easy to remember, but is also easy for us to say over and over when we're having those times that we're struggling. So, City Salvos, I hope you're doing well and that you are opening up God's word and relying on God's strength. And can't wait to see you all on Sunday. Bye.